So welcome to this quick update video where I want to give you an update of where I'm up to with developing the new website for DegreeTutors. And I also, first of all, want to say a really big welcome to all of the people that have joined DegreeTutors over the last year, I suppose. In particular, in this last month, November is always a really big month for DegreeTutors, for anybody really who does anything online. November is a big month. And so we always get a lot of new people in. That's either people who are just buying individual courses or people who subscribe to the membership or the lifetime membership. So big welcome to everybody. Your ongoing support is hugely appreciated. So as I said, one of the main things here is that I want to give you an update on the DegreeTutors website. I feel like I've been talking about this website update that I'm doing for a long time, and so it's only fair really to at this stage give you a bit of an update because we're really coming very close to releasing it now, and the idea is to get this out the door in January. I suppose one of the other reasons I'm giving an update on this is because it's taken a lot of effort, a lot of work, and what that means is it's anytime I'm working on building this website, I'm not building courses, and that's what you all subscribed for, and that's why you all I suppose follow DegreeTutors. You want to see more courses coming out, and I want to get more courses out, but I'm kind of balancing that with building a solid foundation and a solid base for the DegreeTutors platform. So that's the main thing. That's what we're going to go through. I want to talk through a little bit of the new website here compared to the old one, and talk you through a few new features. And I also want to give an update on what courses are coming. So once this website is done, it's more than a website really. It's a whole online learning system, but once it's done, I really want to get back to making courses, and so I want to give a bit of an update on what are the courses I'm planning to make in 2024. Okay, and one other thing I'll say is this is not my office. It's my house, but it's not my office, and so the lighting is probably going to change throughout this video, and the sound is probably a little bit echoey. Nothing I can do about that. My office upstairs in the back bedroom is being renovated at the minute, so I've been hovering between the kitchen table and this is the conservatory actually for the last 2 months, and so we'll just get on with it. Okay, so that's the plan for this video. So I built a new website, right, for DegreeTutors, and you might think, oh, why'd you bother doing that? Well, a number of reasons. One, I like web development, so that's my first it's a good thing because it means I can build things myself. It's a bad thing because it means I build them myself rather than getting other people to build them. So over here is the current DegreeTutors website. I'm being pretty happy with this website. It's stood the test of time for quite a while now, but there are things I don't really like about it. And I suppose the first thing, if I go into the tutorials, it's a WordPress website. For anyone who knows kind of web development, you'll know what WordPress is. And so it's great. It's great for getting off the ground quick, getting a website up there, but it doesn't do things that I want it to do very well. So in terms of rendering code, this is an article written by Callum. You'll have seen quite a few of Callum's articles coming onto the DegreeTutors website over the last, I suppose, couple of months now, maybe. Callum is a former student of mine, actually. When I was a lecturer in the University of Exeter, I was a fantastic student. He did his BEng with us in Exeter, and since went on to get an MSc from Imperial, I think it is. So he's kindly agreed to continue, to start and hopefully continue writing articles for the website, and I'm delighted by that because Callum is hands down one of the best students I've ever worked with, to be very honest with you. You won't like me saying that, but it's true, and so I'm really pleased that he's contributing to the website. So anyway, put that aside for a second. This is the website. This is a standard article. I'm a bit pernickety, right? I really don't like the way my equations come in, right? They come in as images because I've got some plugin that renders them. I write them in LaTeX and it comes in an image or something. It's not great. I'm not a big fan of it. And so technology's moved on. There's lots of better ways of doing things, and so the new website's built on a completely different platform. It's not WordPress. It's a custom coded website. So let me just bring that up and just show you kind of a side-by-side comparison of this article in the new website versus the old website. So this is the new website. This is the articles page. I'll show you the articles page today, what an article looks like on the site, the course taking experience. I think that's a lot better, and then some of the new features around that. So let's go to that same article over here. Which would be this guy here. So it's a lot snappier, it's a lot faster because of the tech stack that it's built on. So this is the website, right? So what have we got? We've got a reading time now, so you can kind of get an idea of what you're in for when you start reading one of these. But we've got I'm a sucker for dark mode, right? So we've got dark mode now, which I like. So small feature, but I like it. So if I scroll on down here, the big thing that's different about how the new website's put together is, well, there's two things. One, from a back end perspective, it's way easier for me to just write the lectures, or Callum, to write the lectures or write the tutorials and publish them much faster than it was. The publishing process previously was painfully slow. So now it's much quicker. We just write it, upload it, and it comes onto the website. That's fantastic. But you'll see that actually all of our equations, all of our symbols, if I get down somewhere where there's some decent equations, they're presented not as images embedded in the page. They're actually it doesn't matter what they are. I mean, they're much clearer, they're the right size, they're easier to read. And so, yeah, the whole article reading experience should be a lot better on the new website. It looks a lot better, it's easier for us to publish them. And so that's a win-win, I think. Oh, and in fact, I never actually did these side by side. So let me just do a quick side by side here. People always ask me, what browser are you using? I use a browser called Arc. It's a really good browser. I really, really like it. Anyway, put that aside. So the old website on the left and the new website on the right here. So hopefully you'll agree, it looks a little bit snazzier. It's definitely a lot faster to load, and yeah, it just looks better. I think it looks better anyway. Right, so that's articles. Okay, so what do I want to talk about next? Let me see, I've got my little list here of things I want to touch on. Oh yeah, I suppose the other thing is to say that, like, another motivation here is if you consider the ecosystem of DegreeTutors websites and things now, right? We've got the main website here. Go back to the home page. Let me see. Let me just pop this out. Okay, so this is the main homepage. We also have go back over to tutorials. Right, so the main current website. Then we have Labs. Labs was the first custom coded thing that I built for DegreeTutors, and this is another platform which is an improvement on the website. But this is where if you subscribe to a membership, or you subscribe to a lifetime membership, you get access to Labs. Now there was some technical reasons why individual people who bought individual courses, just the courses, didn't get it. Access to it. It was much more of a technical thing behind the scenes in terms of coding it. It was much more straightforward to give access to the entire site rather than individual courses, and so that's why only members and lifetime subscribers have access to it. No other reason really. So this was nice. This was pretty good, and I'm still pretty happy with this. So you can go to to lessons in here, and you can see we've got there's my big face, and then we've got our text lessons in here. So it's pretty good. But we have a website doing tutorials, the tutorial articles, the main website. We have Labs here, which is only accessible by some members. Then we have, if you just buy an individual course, you had the Podia. Let me see, this is the Podia site. This is me signed in as a customer. If you just bought an individual course, you might have just found yourself in here taking an individual course or a number of courses. And then we had, separate to that again, the forum. The forum is a discourse forum that I've I suppose customized for DegreeTutors. Now I actually really like the forum. That's staying, that lives on, and we'll just embed it within the new site. So really the idea is I want to take all of these individual pieces and bring them all together, essentially, so that you go to one place and it will all be now under one roof, right? So we're going to have tutorials, or well, we're seeing the tutorials page here. We've got projects, and then we've got our courses page. Okay. And so we're going to dive into the courses page in a little bit more detail now. I suppose the other thing I should say is you can see it's not called DegreeTutors anymore, right? It's called EngineeringSkills. Now, quick comment on that. It's a real 50-50 decision whether or not I wanted to change the name from DegreeTutors to EngineeringSkills. I started DegreeTutors years ago now when I was a lecturer, and my initial assumption when I started DegreeTutors was that we would have mainly students, right? So I just assumed, well, I'll put some of my, I'll write lectures like I do for my university students. I'll put them up and presumably other students will take them. Well, it's turned out over the years that there certainly are a lot of students who take the lectures and take the courses, but there's actually a huge number of engineers, people who work in engineering. So yeah, there's lots of other people, but professionals who are post, sort of formal education take the courses as well. So DegreeTutors didn't really make much sense in that context. And so we broadened out the sort of the brand, I suppose, to EngineeringSkills. So the new website, when I eventually launch it and sort sort of redirect everything, the new website will be EngineeringSkills.com. And so that's why you're going to see Engineering Skills everywhere across this website, because that's what the brand will become. All right then, so what's next on my little list of things here? Course lists page, right? That's this page here, right? So on the other, well, we don't need to do a side by side. You've seen the course lists page on both websites. So here, it's a similar idea. This is a list of all the current courses. We have some little icons here, which are basically telling you, it's like a legend that tells you what each of these different courses has. So obviously they're all video courses, right? So they've all got a video icon. All the videos now have closed captions, English subtitles. If this little third icon you can see it here. If this is green, it means that I have full text lectures for that course. If it's not green, it means I'm still working on it. And then the Python one is a totally brand new thing. So a feature that I've literally just added in, and I'm still working out what's the best way to use it, is to have embedded Python Jupyter notebooks and executable Python code within the course platform itself. Now, if the Python icon is there, it means it's a code-based course, right? If it's there and it's also lit up in green, which it isn't for any of these yet. Oh, it is for this one here. So direct stiffness method for trust analysis is lit up in green, right? That means that the code, you can also run the code for that course here on the web, on the website itself. And so I'll be working through a process of adding that code for all of the courses that actually are code-based courses. All right, so this probably makes more sense if you actually see it. So let me see, if I go into one of the courses, let's say go to this course, Nonlinear Analysis of 2D Cables and Catenary Structures. Right, so this is the course taking experience. The default is, my system default is dark mode. That's why this is dark, so I'll just switch it to light here. So you can kind of see a bit clearer what you're looking at. So fairly standard, fairly what you would expect. We've got our video, it's the primary mode of delivery here is a video course. We've got our index over on the left. Obviously, if you complete a course, you'll get a green tick, or you complete a lesson, you get a green tick, so you can track your completion. And your completion is also represented on the home page or the course listings page as well. So what have we got? We've got our index over on the left, and then you've just got your lesson text below it. All of the lessons will have, if I just press play on that, they've all got closed captions. We can undock, it jumps over to my other screen, but you can undock the video, which I really like this picture-in-picture feature. You could do this on labs, but you couldn't do it if you're just taking a course on Podia. And so if you wanted, you can, you put your video over here, watch the video, and kind of read down through the lesson as you're working through the video. So that's pretty cool. I like that. So we got our closed captions, we got our pop-out video, and I'm still working through, with Callum's help now, thankfully, working through producing the text lessons to go with each of my lectures. So let's jump down to, let's say this guy here, solving for max cable tension. I'm going to switch into dark mode again. I think it looks a bit better. So here we are, right? So this particular lesson has got the text added. The text is added for this whole course. This is just one example. So you can see now it looks a little bit nicer than it does over on labs. And we've got a couple of really cool features here. So the first one is I've added in, and again, this is a work in progress, adding these into all of the lessons as we're writing new lessons and to add them into existing text lessons. But we've got these little AI features, right? So AI features, what I mean by that is we all know about large language models and the explosion in large language models and OpenAI and all the rest of it. And so naturally enough, I've built in some features that leverage that new technology. And one of them is when you have an equation like this, you kind of look at that, and hopefully I will have explained that equation before we reach it and just cold like this. In fact, I think I derived this equation in this particular lesson, but that's fine. But if there's a complicated equation like that, if we hit if I add in this little AI box below it, we can basically feed the equation into a large language model and ask for an explanation, right? And so that's what we do. So if I hit that, we get our little sort of brain animation icon here, and we get a GPT, ChatGPT. Well, this actually is fed by GPT-4 currently, but we get its interpretation of what this is. Now, it's a large language model's output, and the intention is that I will proofread all of these before I put them in the course, and so you should be able to rely on what's in here. So that's basically just talking down through this particular equation. and unpacking it. What are the terms and what's an interpretation in words? What is an interpretation of what this equation is telling us? So we've done it for equations. We've built that feature for equations. Then code as well. It's nice for code. So not below every code block, because some of them are trivial. This one, for example, but below a code block, especially if it's a slightly interesting code block like this, we can do the same thing and explain this code, and we can get a large language model or an AI version of interpretation of what that code is doing. And so we can just see line by line, it's explaining what the code is doing. And so this is really handy, particularly for, obviously, if you've watched the video, I've explained it myself. But sometimes you need to hear things explained from a different perspective. You need to hear, in this case, a computer's perspective, right? So me explaining it might not have done it for you. You might still be a little bit confused, and it might be helpful to just hear what a large language model thinks about this code. And so that feature's built in. Now, as I said, this is a process of adding this into the existing lectures. So that's part of the work that I'm trying to get through now at the minute. And it'll also be adding it to new lectures that are being worked on at the minute. Like the ambition really is to build this platform is going to take DegreeTutors, EngineeringSkills. It's going to take us now over the next, it'll carry us through the next 5 years, next 10 years maybe, right? So it is the ambition is to grow this platform and to have every single lesson fully documented. And so it will be the number one best place to come and learn engineering, certainly civil and structural engineering. And there's sort of plans beyond that as well, let's just say for now. All right then. So okay. So some nice new features in here. And so you can basically go and do this for all the code blocks I've added it in for. And then at the bottom here, you don't see it now because I haven't implemented it yet, but you'll have a link directly out to the forum discussion for this specific lecture. People who are used to the labs platform will recognize that. At the end of every lesson, you've got an embedded version of the comment thread associated with that lesson. Most lessons don't have a comment thread because there's hundreds and hundreds of lessons, and not everybody comments on not every lesson gets a comment, but sometimes there's a thread, a discussion below the lesson where usually it's me going back and forth and discussing something with somebody, and it can be really helpful for that particular lesson. It can kind of add a little bit of extra color and context. All right, so that's the AI feature number one. The next one is this guy here. So again, it's kind of like a built-in ChatGPT for the platform. So this is really handy. This is your standard ChatGPT model, right? Ask it something and it will tell you something. So currently it's just using, again, a base model, a base large language model. The idea, especially after, at the time of me putting this video together, OpenAI, well, they've just gone through a bit of turmoil with their CEO, but they're over that now, thankfully. But just before that, there was the dev day for this year, 2023, and they announced a whole lot of new APIs basically. And one of them is the completions API and the ability to, is it the completions API it's called? Anyway, they've got a whole lot of new features which I now have to go and build into sort of back end that's driving this model. So what I'd like to do is further tune the model with knowledge of the DegreeTutors library of courses. And so at the very least, the model should have knowledge of all of the different lessons, maybe not necessarily what's in each lesson, but it should understand the structure of the courses and perhaps a little synopsis or summary of the lesson, so that when you ask a question over here, it can give you an answer and perhaps even direct you to different lessons within the larger library of courses. So for now, it's basically like a ChatGPT built into DegreeTutors EngineeringSkills. So for example, like let's say I wanted to, so this is using matplotlib. Let's say I took this, copy it over, and then basically say, you've seen ChatGPT demonstrated previously, but I'll do it here again. So let me see, give me a plotly version of this that achieves the same thing. So Plotly, if you don't know, is another visualization library. So I'll just shift enter to get a new line, paste the code in, and let's see what it comes back with. Hopefully it'll come back with something interesting. Let me see. So plotly graph objects. Let me see. What's it giving us? Import. So it's giving us code. Interestingly, that code should be syntax highlighted. Let's try again. Try again. Okay, great. So that's not great actually, because what I'm expecting to see, it's giving us code, but what it should be doing is giving us syntax highlighted code block. So let me see. In fact, let me try it a different way. So let's say give me some Python code that achieves the same outcome. Okay, so for some strange reason, it's not highlighting, syntax highlighting. It's weird because literally when I just checked this before I started recording, it was doing syntax highlighting, and it generally does. And I suppose, I mean, it's not ideal, but it's also interesting to point out that, like, you know, this is a large language model and there is some variability in what it's going to give back. And so this is, I suppose, one example of that. It's not giving me back exactly what I'd expect, which is a nice syntax highlighted code. But anyway, that's a problem for me to work out, not for you. So you get the idea. There is a model in here, and it will get better over time as I further tune the underlying model with additional information. All right, so that is the main features. Actually, no, that's not the main feature. The main feature is the thing I just added in the other day, which is notebooks, right? So I've been looking for a way to have Python code running in the browser for quite a while, and I came across a good way to do it. Won't dig into the details behind it. It's not really that relevant. But for this particular lesson, I've got it set up, right? So we've got this lesson. This particular lesson is full of code, right? Where if you actually watch the video, it's basically me coding along, explaining what I'm doing. And there's a notebook you can download. If I hit the resources here, you can download the notebook for this lesson, and that's all fine. You could do that already. But what I've also done now is I've actually embedded the notebook. So if you hit the notebook tab here, you can see a live version of the notebook. So this is a Jupyter notebook running, well, it will run if we try and run it, but it's running in the browser. So it's running in your browser when you go to the website. So you can basically work your way down. This is the completed code for the lesson, even with the, you know, my file path in here, right? So this is literally the lesson code that we wrote in that video. And what you can do is work your way down through this and run this code. So let's see if this demo goes a little bit better. So if I just try and run that, we can see it's thinking, and now it's run. Okay, so that's executed that cell like live in the browser. This it's not a separate environment running where I usually run my Jupyter notebooks. This is actually running in the browser, which I think this is great. Like, you know, as someone who is both a web developer and an engineer who uses Jupyter notebooks, this is the perfect marriage of technologies for me. I'll just draw your attention to a couple of things. We're using not the what's the kernel we usually use is IPython, the IPython kernel. It's the one you usually use with a Jupyter notebook. Because this is running in the web, and we're using a pyodide kernel. Technical reasons behind it, no need to go into them now, but it's not the same kernel. And also it's important to say that this is running in your web browser, right? And so if you've got a particularly heavy notebook, like this particular course, we write an iterative solver that takes, I want to bounce the table, we write an iterative solver that iterates towards a final solution. And computationally, certainly in comparison to some of the other courses, the FE courses, the simpler courses, it's computationally very heavy and very expensive. So for some of the notebooks, it will make perfect sense to run it in the browser, that's fine. But for some of them, it won't work running it in the browser. Your browser tab will just freeze up. And so for some, you'll still need to download the notebook, which you can download from the resources panel here, or just right click here and where is it? Download the notebook there, one or the other. So just keep that in mind. It's not as powerful as running the notebook in your main development environment, because your browser doesn't have access to all the resources that your development environment would have, whether that's Jupyter Lab or whatever. So I can basically continue working my way down. I'm just hitting Shift Enter here, and I'm basically working down, and you can see we're executing the notebook in the browser, which I just think is the best thing since sliced bread. That's class. So we can work our way down. I won't try and export here because no doubt that'll cause a problem because I haven't got the right file path in. But you get the idea, right? So that's pretty cool. So I'm still trying to work out what's the best way from a pedagogical point of view, from you know, as someone who's trying to deliver the best learning experience. I'm not quite sure yet what that looks like. Do I just provide the full notebook here? Should I actually be providing a blank notebook so that you can basically, let me see, undock the video and, right, pause me there. So undock the video and then like you've got a blank notebook here instead. You could always give yourself a blank notebook, by the way. So you could just say, right, new notebook, that's a fresh notebook. And we could undock this again and have the video playing there, and literally you just code away down here as you're watching the video side by side, all on the one platform. So that's one option. As I say, I've literally just implemented this, and so I'm kind of still working out like what's the best way to get the most value out of this. So bear with me, but I think it's pretty cool. The other thing I think is also pretty cool is so if I can do that for the notebooks, I can also add in just a general purpose window. So if I scroll on down to the footer here, Python online. This is just, as I say here, this is just a handy notebook, right? So the idea here is like pick your kernel, that's okay. So now you basically have online just a notebook just to do stuff in, whether you want to run calculations or whatever. You can spin up your own Python dev environment and start working on it, or you can just go to the website, hit that button, and you've got a live notebook ready to go. So that's, again, pretty cool. All right, so we've talked through pretty much all of the features as I just look at my list here. Yeah, it's basically all the things I wanted to talk to you about the new website. So here we are, we're back at the courses page, and that's basically the new website. That's what I've been working on. I have to build out a few more pages, you know, landing page and what have you. That's quick enough stuff to do. And really the work now, and all the content is migrated over. The vast majority of the tutorials are migrated to the new platform. All of the lessons are. I still have to add in the text associated with the lessons, certainly the ones I've already done. And we're working hard behind the scenes to get more documented, more lessons documented. But a lot of the hard work is done. And so the plan is to launch the new site in, I'm going to say January, and I really hope I can get it done in January. I hope it launches in January, and I'm going to work hard to do that. It's going to be a busy Christmas. Yeah, that's going to be the new DegreeTutors / engineering skills experience going forward. There'll be no action for you to take. You don't have to do anything, right? If you've taken a course, you've enrolled in any course, or certainly any paid course or your membership or anything like that, all you'll have to do once the site goes live is register an account on this site and use the same email address that you've registered your last account with. And once you've got the same email, I'll recognize it and you'll just log in as normal and you'll have access to all the same courses you had access to previously. So no action to take. Don't do anything at all other than take the courses. And don't do anything until you get more information from me, probably another email, maybe another video, and where I'll say, right, you've now got the green light, get going on the new website. So everything is as is for now, right? I'm just kind of giving you the behind the scenes of what's happening. Okay, new courses, obviously, right? I love developing stuff for the web, but equally I love even more, I suppose I'd say, developing new courses. And we've just launched, we just launched this analytical modeling of plates and shells. That's part 1. Part 2 is literally sitting on my kitchen table. That I'm starting to work through it now. I won't lie, it's early days in the process of writing that course, just because I've been working hard to try and get the site up. But that's the next course that's going to come out, and very soon after this thing goes live in January. From there, I want to move on. I have a whole list. I have a massive document and list of courses that I want to do. It's like a never-ending list, which is good on one hand. But I'm always kind of thinking, well, what's the next course I want to do? So the shells course, part 2 is definitely the next course. After that, I'd like to do finite element analysis of plates. So here this was finite element analysis of continuum structures. That was 2D structures, and that was out of plane loading of 2D structures, or that was in plane loading, I guess. So I want to do out of plane loading, which the reason I want to do that is because I want to be able to do floor slab analysis in a Jupyter notebook, just in raw Python, because that's just a cool thing to be able to do in raw code. And then what I want to do after that is I want to expand that in another course where we go and expand it for dynamic analysis. which is going to be very juicy, very interesting. I'm really looking forward to building that out as well, because what that allows us to do is to do human-induced or occupant-induced vibration of floors. And that, my background at my PhD is in human-induced bridge vibration. And I'd really like to do write some code where we do occupant-induced floor vibration. I just think that'd be cool. There's also some really interesting crowd modeling. So individual crowd, modeling people in crowds. I think there's probably going to be a Python project in that. That's again another thing that I spent a lot of time in my PhD on. And then after that, once we've got that far, the next thing I'd like to do, well, there's two options at that point. There's two things I want to do. One course is on structural safety and reliability. So that's another area I've been really interested in the past, where we model probabilistically the likelihood of failure for different structures. So again, a lot of really interesting content in there to cover, and of course I think that would actually be really valuable and really helpful to an awful lot of people. So that's one course. A little bit further down the line. And then the other one is tensegrity structures. So again, these are one of these really interesting structural forms that you don't see them very, very often. But I think there's absolutely an interesting course to be done on the analysis of tensegrity structures. I mean, ultimately we'll do all these courses, right? We'll get to them all. The only question to be addressed now is what's the order, like what comes first. So that's what we're looking at in 2024. So that's it. That's really the headlines that I wanted to bring you up to speed on. And again, just to thank everybody who has, well, over the years, like DegreeTutors has gone a long time now. So to thank everybody over the years who's taken a course or even read a tutorial. It's appreciated, and I really appreciate the reviews and the messages that I get from people as well. That's really, really nice as well. So thanks for all of those, and a big welcome to all the newbies, everyone that has just joined, in particular this November. It's been the biggest month for new joiners ever this November, and so I'm really, really pleased with that. And you're all very welcome aboard. So that's it for now. You'll hear from me again soon when I've got another update on this when this is launching. Last thing to say is Black Friday sale is running until what are we now? The 25th as I record this. So there's another 5 days left, right, to get pretty much. I only run one sale a year, generally speaking, and it's the Black Friday sale. It's running now. If you want to grab a course, grab a membership, now is the time to do that at a really good discount. And membership discounts are they last for as long as you maintain your membership. Every renewal is at the discounted price, so it's a really good deal at the minute, shall we say. So that's it from me. I will speak to you soon. Look after yourselves, and talk soon.